All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smithy with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip. And today I'm here to walk you through and do a deep dive into how to successfully go from being a part-time real estate agent into a full-time real estate agent. So let's just say you got a W-2 full-time job. Real estate's your part-time kind of side hustle, but the ultimate goal is to make real estate your full-time career. We're able to drop that W-2 job and go full-time in real estate. And look, guys, throughout my 20 years of doing this and being a team leader for over 19 years now, the vast majority that join teams are brand new agents fresh out of school. The vast majority of those have full-time corporate jobs with that same goal of getting out of that corporate job, getting out of that W-2 and making real estate their full-time gig. So I've helped hundreds, if not thousands, go through this transition, whether it be those of my team or coaching clients. Like, this is a very common situation for those that are entering the real estate business. Or look, maybe you've been in the business for a long time, you just came amongst hard times, had to go get another job, and now even though you're seasoned in real estate, you're having to go back through this transition, right? We see that quite often as well. So today I want to break this down and look, after helping, like I said, hundreds, I never kept count, I haven't tallied, but hundreds, if not thousands, go through this. Look, I've seen the right way to do it. I've seen the wrong way to do it. Kind of got this down to a little bit of a science. So I want to break this down in depth for you guys today. I want to break down the most risk averse way of doing this. So the safest way of doing this, because the thing that we don't want to have happen, I see so many people do this. They make the mistake of making the jump too early. Then all of a sudden the real estate business retracts. Then they have to go back and get that job, and now they're having to retract. Like, we want to do this. We want to do this right. We want to do this in the least risky way. And we want to make sure that we're successful for the long term with this transition. Now, real quick, before I start breaking down exactly how to do this, if you are a real estate agent, if you are a real estate team leader, you're a real estate brokerage owner, and interested in learning more about partnering with me at EXP, where you get 100% full free access to myself, all my coaching, my mentorship, all of my training, as well as my business partner, Mike Shard, who's hands down the best in the world in real estate at AI, social media, growing your business through YouTube. So you get all of our combined coaching 100% for free. If you're interested in learning more about what this partnership opportunity can look like, there's going to be a link below where you can schedule a 100% confidential, 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me personally. When I say zero pressure, look, I'm not going to try to recruit you. I'm not going to push you, not going to hard pressure. I'm just going to walk you through, hey, here's everything that we do. Here's how we work. Here's how we operate. Here's all the additional coaching, training, systems, tools, mentorship that we provide to ensure that you are hitting your real estate goals. Answer any questions that you have at the end of the call. If you think it's a great fit for you, awesome. Not, that's okay too. We can still be friends. So anywhere, wherever you watch or listen to this, there'll be a link below, top link in the show notes or the description, where you can go ahead and schedule that and book that. Okay, so now let's get into, again, the essential things that you need to have in place, like what my recommendation is, process. If you want to do this in the most risk averse way, meaning that, okay, when I first jumped into real estate, I did it in the most risky way possible. I had no money in the bank, spent my last $1,000 that I had in the bank to just get my, pass my test, get the equipment, get my lockbox key, join the board. Like, dude, if I didn't get a deal in a contract my first 30 days, I was in trouble. I would not recommend anybody to do that. I was willing to roll the dice. I was dumb, 23-year-old dumb kid, but I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. At that point in time in my life, I could afford to roll the dice. Now I'm married, got 3 kids, right? I got to be a little bit more risk adverse, right? So what I'm going to walk you through here today is the least risk adverse way that I found to go out there and do this. And you'll hear people that will sit there and say, oh, get 6 months of savings in the bank, get a year's worth of savings in the bank, then you're good to go. Well, look, that's still very risky. I'm not saying to not do those things. I'm not saying that that cushion isn't good, isn't helpful, but that's still very risky. You can burn through that 6 months or years in the bank, like that. Here's with the reserve, right? So that's still a very risky way to do it. I wouldn't recommend making this transition based on the savings that you have in the bank. Okay, so here are the overall steps. So number one is making sure that you know exactly, precisely what your replacement number needs to be. So what do you need to be making monthly? Maybe it matches your current, salary or what you're, netting, bringing home from your current job. Maybe it can be a little bit less. Maybe you got to, retract or restrict on some things, luxury, items like, I don't know, Netflix or Starbucks, or maybe you got to put on hold some of those family vacations. But like, hey, we got to make sure that we know what the exact precise number is, that once I'm consistently hitting this number every single month, I know it's safe for me to go out there and make this overall transition. So we want to know what that replacement number is. And if you're a W-2 employee, like, think about things like, insurance, different things that we don't necessarily get here in real estate. Like, I don't get insurance. I have to go out there and pay $1,000 a month for, coverage, semi okay coverage, for myself or my family. So there's a expense that we might not calculate in that equation. So making sure that you're calculating that equation, you know precisely exactly what your replacement figure needs to be. So maybe let's just say an example, that's $10,000 a month. Then we know your average commission in your market's 10,000, yeah, right, or 11,000. Now we know that, okay, we got to build a strategy plan to get you at, closing per month while you're part-time, which is very doable, right? Very, very doable if you are focused. Okay, so number one, making sure that we know your replacement number. Number two, dealing in reality. So this is when I'm on a coaching call and I'm walking somebody through this. I'm walking you guys through right now, just like I would on a coaching call. So now let's look at, okay, what's your current job schedule? But then from there, okay, what are your other life events? Because we need to build a realistic, doable schedule. Not just, okay, here would be the optimal schedule, but then you're just killing yourself to obtain it. It's not obtainable. You can't be consistent with it. Like we got to look at, like, what do you got going on with your kids? What do you got going on with your life? What do you got, just we have life outside of real estate. So thinking about, hey, and then commute time to your job, all of those things. So we want to build out, okay, how many hours every week are you able to allocate to your real estate business? And then let's identify what those days and what those time blocks are that you can realistically and consistently, week in, week out, month in and month out, commit to full focus on your real estate business during those times. So now we got the replacement number, we got the time allotment and the schedule built out. The next thing that we come up with is strategy. Okay, what is our strategy plan, new client acquisition strategy to get you? So let's just say your replacement number is a closing a month, right? Okay, well, what are we going to do to go out there and get there? Are we going to do open houses? Are we going to do social media? Are we going to do, are we going to cold call? Are we going to door knock? Are we going to network? Are we going to, there's all these different ways, 1,000 different strategies. So we got to look at, what's going on with your market. What are your skill sets and strengths? What is your schedule and time location? Because there might be certain things that might make sense and not sense to focus on based on the time that you have available for your real estate business. So we want to put those pieces together where we come up with that right strategy plan and a strategy plan with precision. So let's just say you got 3 hours a day on average to focus on your real estate business, outside of work and then kids and all of that. You got 3 hour time chunks. And then maybe you have, one full day on a weekend and then a half day on a weekend, right? Okay, now we got to plug in. Okay, what is the strategy plan with precision where you know exactly what you need to be doing with that full 3 hours? Like you got to know every day what you need to do to win. And this is how I'm able to take part-time agents and get them making six figures, even though it's part-time, making more money than a lot of full-time agents because we eliminate all that guesswork. There's no guesswork. There's precision. You know exactly what they need to do, what they need to focus on, and so forth. So the next step is making sure you got your strategy plan with precision so you know exactly what to do in those time slots. Okay, then from there, we plug the strategy plan into the schedule. Now the next component is we got to make sure that everything is tracked and measured. If we want to do this in the most risk-averse way, your tracking needs to be on point. So we want to be tracking, okay, whatever the lead strategy is that you're doing. Well, how many leads did you generate? How many of the activities did you do? How many leads are you generating? How many reach outs, conversations, appointment set, appointment conductions, clients, closings? So then now we can create predictability. Now we know exactly what you did and how much of it that you did. So we knew the activities, but we know the exact energy and effort that it takes to lead to that closing. So this way, when you make the transition, like now how to scale this up, it's predictable, it's replicatable, it's duplicatable. Yeah, right. So there's no reason that you need to be having these roller coasters. Anybody that's experiencing roller coasters with their commission income in this business, it's because you're choosing to experience it. I know nobody enjoys experiencing it, but at the end of the day, we got to swallow that hard pill and understand it's a choice, right? If you're not tracking your numbers, if you don't have a strategy plan with precision, if you're not having the right consistency, right? I mean, that's on you, and just like with me, I mean, I experienced those too, but I didn't fix it until I started taking responsibility and then started plugging in the things that I needed to do to go out there and fix that so I don't have to experience it anymore. Okay, so now that we're tracking, right? Then once we hit your replacement number, so let's just say it takes you 5 months to hit your replacement number and you start hitting that, right? Well, we are in an industry where it's very easy to get lucky for a month or two. And then it's very easy to think that's going to be the new norm. And this is what I see happen over and over and over because I get it. Like we're impatient. We want to make this happen sooner than later. Well, then all of a sudden they plug in. They're not tracking. They got lucky for a month or two, think it's the new norm. Well, then they jump in and their business goes to hell for 3 months. And then they got to go back to that, same job or same employer or different employer. And then, now they're in the same mess again. No, right? Like, so it's very difficult to get lucky 3 months in a row. It's impossible to get lucky 4 months in a row. So if we want to do this in the most risk averse way, we are hitting our replacement figure every single month for 4 months consecutive, 4 months straight consecutively. Everything's tracked and measured. We know exactly what we did, how much of it that we did. We've got the schedule, we got all these things in place. So that's kind of a high level of what that process is. Then from there, okay, while you're doing this transition, what are the things that you need to focus on from a skill set standpoint, from a mastery standpoint? So here's what I recommend that you really hone in and make sure that you take this time to really master, as you're going through this transition. So when you're full time, now you can grow and scale like nobody else. So number one is, getting your tracking dialed in and mastering your tracking. Give this time to become a tracking freak. Learn how to read the data, to make decisions off the data. He or she that's most successful in this business are those that are the best operators. There's not one operator out there that's a great operator that doesn't know the details, doesn't know the data inside their business. All right, so then make sure that you're mastering your CRM. So your tracking system is your most important daily system, weekly system, most important system that you're using to make smart, strategic decisions in your business, plan on, all of those things. Your CRM is your most important daily tool that you're using inside your business to manage all of your relationships, right? So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management System. So this is where you manage all your leads, clients, past clients, keeps everything together. So you need to master it. I do not know any top of the top producer, that is continue to grow and scale, that doesn't become stagnant at some point, that continues to grow and scale, that doesn't live and breathe inside their CRM, throughout the day, that hasn't taken the time to master it. You need to hone this in. You need to master it. Then making sure that you're mastering your listing presentation, mastering your buyer presentation, dialing in and mastering your sphere of influence, past client strategy. Now you might be like, well, Josh, man, let's just say you just moved to a new market. Don't know anybody, got a full-time gig there, wanting to get into real estate full-time. Like, I don't know anybody. Okay, you still want to do this. You don't have any past clients yet. Right? This is a pushback I get all the time on this. I'm like, if you don't do this up front, you're going to fall subject to 90+% of this industry that just are collecting front-end commission checks, peace out, never see you later. They never capitalize on that future gold, which is that repeat referral business. Don't let that be you. The gold in this business is once you're doing this 5 years, maybe 10 years, whatever, you get that point where you're getting 50 plus, come list me calls, come help me buy a home call. It's the easiest business to obtain. So we want to have this in place. So once we get a past client and we know how to build our sphere of influence, we're building up that future gold, that future pipeline of our business, right? Okay, so then we're mastering our lead acquisition strategies. Right? So when I say lead acquisition strategy, I'm talking about lead gen and lead follow-up, like everything from inception to lead all the way to when they're a client, right? So what do I got to do to go out there and master the strategy? Because look, every strategy that we do can take a different set of skills that we need to go out there and master. So if I'm doing YouTube, that's a different skill set than if I'm doing TikTok or if I'm doing short form, or if I'm doing Facebook groups, or if I'm doing open houses, or if I'm cold calling, or if I'm networking. They're all different skill sets. They'd have different follow protocols, processes, skill sets that you need to acquire and learn. If I'm cold calling, that's a way different skill set than if I'm doing open houses, right? So you need to make sure that you are mastering the skill set on your new client acquisition strategies that you have deployed, whether it's a strategy or strategies, meaning more than one, you need to master that. Then the last thing is making sure you're taking the time to master your local market expertise. And by that, it's like, okay, when I have a new agent that's full-time, so when you're part-time, you gotta have a little less time to go out there and do this. But take the time that you have, whether it's 15 minutes a day. But when I have somebody that's new, that's full time for the first month, here's what I have them do. I have them spend an hour a day on the MLS. Okay, I want you to look at anything that's came up active in the markets that you're going to be working. And I want you to study it. Study all the photos, study the tax records, who the builder is, what the school districts are, price per square foot. So we're looking at actives. Then anything that went pending in the last 24 hours, anything that got pulled off the market in the last 24 hours, and anything that sold in the last 24 hours. So then after a month of that, you start to very clearly know, the types of properties, the builders, the school districts, the price per square foot things are selling at, what's not selling, what is selling. So, after 30 days, you get a very, very fast knowledge base on this. Then the last component is I'll have them go drive a subdivision every single day. Go get to know all the streets in that subdivision, the schools, the local parks, and then while they're out there driving, go preview 2 vacant properties, whether that be new build spec homes or vacant resale properties, go preview them, right? So it gives them, used to walking properties, also create social media content that then create while they're previewing those properties, so killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But after 30 days of that, you get to know your area pretty damn good, right? And then the other part of local market expertise is obviously getting to know your local contracts and real estate rules, regulations, all of those things. So from like things that you need to master standpoint, I would say those are the most important things to master. So by the time you're full time, and maybe it's like, hey, maybe you only have 30 minutes a day. You get up 30 minutes earlier in the morning and you start cracking out these. We're spending 30 minutes a day to master these items while then, executing the 3 hours a day that you have on the other stuff, right? You got to make room for some of these stuff and just understand that. Look, let's just say you're working, an 8 hour a day job, but then you're doing real estate 3 hours a day. So that's 11 hours a day. And then maybe you're doing the mastery items another 30 minutes a day. So now we're 11 and a half hours a day. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm somebody that works 12 hours a day most days. Like I get it. It's a lot. But I want you to understand that the reason why I work 12 hours, multiple businesses, plus, I'm just love to work and trying to, take things in my life to the next, business to the next level. You don't have to work 12 hours a day forever, right? Like you can do amazing things in this business by working 8 hours or less a day, but just understand this is a means to an end. It's not a forever thing, right? Eventually this too shall pass. It's just how quickly do you want this transition to happen? How bad do you want it? And if you want it bad enough, you're going to be laser focused. You're going to allocate your time correctly. You're going to do these things right. So hopefully this is helpful. And again, if you want to learn more about partnering with me at eXp, where you get 100% full free access to all my coaching, all my training, all my mentorship, as well as my business partner, Mike Sherrard, who's the best in the world in real estate at AI, social media, building successful YouTube channels, where you get all of our support, all of our coaching 100% free at no additional cost to you, where we can help ensure that you have the knowledge that you need and the support that you need to scale and hit your real estate goals and continue to scale your real estate business. So if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, there's going to be a link below in the show notes or in the description of this video, depending on where you're watching and listening. Be the top link below where you can schedule 100% confidential, 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me personally. Everything I do is zero pressure. So I'm not going to try to recruit you, not going to push you, not going to pressure. It's just, hey, here's what we got. Here's how we work. Here's how we operate. Here's what we got going on. Answering questions for you. If you think it's fit for you, great. If not, that's okay too. We can still be friends. I do not want to roll with anybody that doesn't want to roll with me. So I promise you, I'm not going to try to push you or hard sell you. It's not my style. But the most expensive thing that you can ever own is a closed mind. So my recommendation is be open to an opportunity. If it's for you, cool. If not, if it's for you and it changes your life, awesome. If it's not for you, okay, that's cool too. But you've lost nothing by just being open-minded to opportunity and hearing it out, right? So if that's something you want to do, there's going to be a link below where you can schedule that with me. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Keep crushing, keep kicking ass, and I will see you next time. Peace.